32 in-ground pool special they're running for under $40,000. This 16 by 32 in-ground pool includes all the equipment, the concrete decking and the entire pool and the installation. I went to Family Leisure for my own in-ground pool, and I got to tell you, I love it. They're pros, and they make the whole process easy. In-ground pool sale going on right now at Family Leisure. Tell them I sent you. All right, Pepsi Frito-Lay and our friends at Budweiser team together with the legendary lager for legendary race days, and you can meet the legends. Now, we've already had a chance to meet Ari Lyondike and Johnny Rutherford and Dario Franchitti and Buddy Rice. How about Al Unser Sr. and Tom Sneva? Tomorrow from 2 o'clock until 3 o'clock, Al Unser will be at the Speedway Kroger. This is on Crawfordsville Road. From 3 o'clock until 4 o'clock, Tom Sneva will be at the Kroger at South Emerson Avenue. That's 8745. And then from 5 o'clock until 6 o'clock, you can meet Al Unser. Another opportunity there on West Michigan Street. So I want to invite you out to meet these guys. They'll be there for an hour signing autographs. Bring your memorabilia. Be more than happy to sign that. They'll have hero cards also. And if you like it, they can even sign a bottle of an aluminum Bud bottle that's great for Father's Day or that race van that's coming in. So again, Al Unser, Tom Sneva, signing autographs. This is tomorrow. We want you to be a part of that. And this is brought to you by Frito-Lay, Pepsi, Budweiser, your friends right here at 107.5 and 10.7 The Van.
2.5 miles of asphalt, a yard of bricks, over a century of heroes, legends, and glory. Sunday, the faithful will gather in auto racing's Grand Cathedral as 33 drivers push themselves and their machines in pursuit of immortality. Coverage on the Fan starts Sunday at 5 a.m. The green flag flies at 12:15 FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. It's the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Good morning. It is Carb Day, and it is raining at the track all of a sudden. We've moved back inside to the IMS Media Center, and Greg Rakestraw is already getting ready to prepare track reports, and he is sitting here with us. As about an hour ago, things looked like they were going to slide by us, Greg, and as things do in Indiana, it changed in the last 30 minutes, and all of a sudden, we got a little bit of a rain shower going on early this morning.
You know, the thing is I brought my umbrella, and normally when you do that, you end up kind of taking one for the team. In terms of it not raining, that clearly wasn't the case. My concern was trying to beat the traffic on Carb Day and getting here a couple of hours ahead of time. Simply put, I learned this lesson a handful of years ago. Don't use 30th Street on Carb Day. Avoid 30th Street like the plague. Other than that, you were good. Now I'm just happy that I beat the rain here. And as I'm looking at the radar here at the track, it's not like there's this huge chunk of rain, but it's literally raining from the northern section to the southern section of Marion County, which means we're not going to see any on-track act. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's going to take about 90 minutes to drive the track whenever it stops, and the first on-track activity isn't until 11 o'clock. And so maybe with it getting out of the way this early, we're going to be okay. I was worried it's going to put kind of a bit of a damper, and pardon the play on words, in terms of the crowds here on Carb Day.
Well, if this thing blows through in the next 30, 45 minutes, I know a lot of people, as Joe and I have been talking about, are going to check in at work and then say, yeah, I'm here, and then they're off to Carb Day, and they come out this afternoon, they want to see the concerts. Hopefully, but what I'm looking at right now looks like this will slide through in the next 30, 45 minutes, I hope.
Hope so, and I think you're giving people a lot more credit in terms of checking in at work today. I think this
You don't even bother?
I think this is generally understood as an unofficial holiday going into a 3-day weekend, and so this has now been the case for, I want to say, the last 10 or 15 years. Carb Day used to be on a Thursday, and Carb Day always had a decent crowd, but once this was moved to Friday, then this became the all-out party that it has turned into. And I thought a couple of years ago there might have been 100,000 people here for Carb Day. I unfortunately think the rain is going to quell that number just a little bit. But as long as this passes through in a pretty quick and easy fashion, then hopefully we can stay somewhere close to on schedule. Because again, at some point they will start canceling activities out here just because there's not time to get them in today, knowing you've got the concert coming up a little bit later today and you've got to get people out of here after the concert is over as well.
Now, if the weather kind of goes a little skippy and iffy, so to speak, over the next 2 hours or so, 3 hours, and it starts to affect the practice, what does that do for a lot of teams that were hoping and counting on getting out here today and making some final tune-ups?
That is also why teams ran a combined total of 2,469 laps in 2 hours on Monday. And again, it is a reduction in practice time this year, both in terms of schedule and in terms of the way things played out. So Monday had been a full practice day in years gone by. That was broken up into, okay, we're going to give you 3 hours on Sunday, 2 hours on Monday. We're going to tack on an extra half hour today and give you 90 minutes to kind of replace that. Well, obviously, because of rain on Sunday, we had time to go qualifying. We did not have time for practice. There goes 3 hours out the window. 2 hour session was just fine on Monday. But now, and this is me with a WAG, and I'll let you figure out what the middle letter stands for. I would think the first thing that would go would be the pit stop competition. That if they had to move practice back and move the Freedom 100 back, that's what they would do. The second thing that probably would get bagged would then be the practice, because you have nowhere to run that Freedom 100. There's really not room in the schedule tomorrow to run that, and clearly you're not going to run that on Sunday either. So that would be my guess on the pecking order as to if things get moved around today.
Well, it was looking like a terrific day. A lot of people were showing up, and I guess suppose now, if nothing else, you get here in the parking lot, you can just stay in the car and let this thing blow over for a while.
And
right?
continue to listen to 107.5 FM and 1070 The Fan. That goes without saying, correct?
That's exactly what you do. We're going to be here all day long, all weekend long, and of course, how many 500s you've been covering now? Do you keep track? Do you know?
So I had a stretch where I was covering something in the state of North Carolina for the NCAA for 5 years, where I didn't come here on a yearly basis. So I was here from 2001 through 2008, 2014 through 2019. So this will be my 14th 500 in which I have been in attendance and had some sort of official role on race day with coverage, whatever the case may be. But my experience before that would be in the days when it was not just us at Emmis having the official rights to the race. In the days before that, you would have like 5 or 6, 7 different radio stations in town that would carry the race. So when I worked at a different place, I would go in and run the board for the race, because we were then kind of allowed, we had some cheat codes to be able to watch the race live on TV. So I figured out a way to watch the race live as it happened on television while running the board for the radio network.
That's a nice setup.
That's a nice thing. I started that in '96. So I got
here, but that's not a bad setup.
Exactly.
All right, so you've done a lot of those things. We've established that. This is the 103rd running. What strikes you as different or unique about the 103rd from any of the previous runnings you've seen?
Just the field gets deeper every year, and the field gets more competitive every year. And obviously, we've got less than
2.5 miles per hour,
right? Exactly. And the fact, I'm not sure if the 3 cars that missed the race, they had legitimate chances of winning the race, but I think those cars all could have finished on the lead lap or within a lap or two. And so, while there are 4 drivers that I have established as favorites in my mind heading to Sunday, that tier kind of behind them, could be another 10 or 15 drivers. And so, we talked about parity in the field for the last 10, 15 years. It just gets deeper as far as to how far down the line you go in terms of drivers that have a somewhat reasonable shot of actually winning the race.
Having said that, who are the 2 or 3 that you really like so far?
All right, so I've got 4. So, in no particular order, Pagano and Will Power from the Penske stable, Alexander Rossi from the Andretti stable, and Ed Carpenter.